Hi, Marion.
Oh, Mr. Lunch.
We're on Tet Zion Amud Aleph.
Yes, Zion.
16. Tomorrow we're going to
Gotcha.
look at Shul. What is it, 6:30?
Yeah, 6:30. Mincha's about 7:30, 7:20,
Okay.
something like that.
6:30.
Here, wait, I'll check. Hold on, I have the Coleno. Here, hold on. I got it. Okay, 6:25 is Mincha. No, yeah, 6:25 is Daf Yomi. Mincha 7:25. Good?
Very good. 6:25. So Tet Zion Amud Aleph, we talked about washing half of your hand. So we thought maybe if you left half of the hand very moist, it would work. More says Vatnan. A neat soak is like a stream of water that connects two ponds. Vahakatafres. Let's say water that runs from a height down an incline to another area of water. Umashke toifech, or an area of moistness that moves to another area. Eino chibur lolutum of lolotaro. These connections of water do not connect two bodies of water, either to make it tome or to make it tome. So we cannot say that extra moisture on one part of your hand is going to help with the tahara of your hand. So what are they talking about? It's really moist. It's so moist that it has the ability to moisten something else. And that was the shaila. And then that it might work. So the Gemara says, well, we don't need the Brisa to say it. If you have significant moisture, it will be a chibur, both for Tumah and Tahara. So the Gemara says there's no raya to Natilas Yadayim, because Dil Maleni Mikvot, it only applies to a mikvah. Rav Yudi is not. Mikvah Sheikh Warboim Sabachuvanas. A mikvah, kosher mikvah needs 40 saw. And you've measured it, and it's exactly 40 saw. The Yordu Shnaim, B'tovlu Shneim V'asachas. Two people went into the mikvah at the same time. They both were toivel in a mikvah 40. So both of them are toivel. V'zachar zeh, if one person went in and then went out, well, he took some moisture on his body with him. So if it was exactly 40, now it's probably 39.5. So that's why Rishon Tohor, Vasheni Tameh, because the second person did not immerse himself in a kosher mikveh. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im Hayu Raglav Shel Rishon Oigos B'Mayim. If the first guy was walking out of the mikveh, and has not left the mikveh, and his foot is still in the mikveh, so basically, the water that's on his body, it's assumed that it's attached to the mikveh itself. So there's 40 saw, because whatever water is on his body and he's connected. So afasheni tor. So even the second guy went in afterwards is going into a mikveh of 40. So the proof of toifech latpia chibur maybe is only by mikveh, but not by the tilsidai. Amrav Yirmiyah. Hare Amru Habar Rosh of Aruba Mamaim She'uvim. If a person took his body or the majority of his body and he had water that had been carried in a kli, that's called Maim She'uvim, dumped on him. Or Tor Shenafla Rosh of Aruba Shlosha Luki Maim She'uvim. Somebody who was Tor who had 3 log of Maim She'uvim dumped on him. Tomei, it's Gzeira Chachamim. And boy, Rav Yirmiyah, Chetzio b'biyah v'chetzio b'nefila. Half of his body was in a mikvah or in a kli with mayim shuvim, and half of it was dumped on him. Is there hitztarfus? Like we've been learning all along, is the hitztarfus with these two kinds of different things? Take no answer. Amrav Papa. Hari Amri Balkari Choyla. You have a Balkari who is Tameh, and he cannot go to the mikveh because he's sick. Shenosno of Tisha Kabin Maya. And 9 kav of water were dumped on him from a kli, Tohor. And he can daven and learn Torah. Boy, Rafa, what about Chetzio B'Tfila v'Chetzio B'Netina? 4.5 kav, he went into a mikveh. And 4.5, or not a mikveh, a kli that had this 4.5 kavim. And 4.5 were dumped on him. Is that mitzaref? Take no answer. Amrav Shmuel. One aide saw the get written, and the other saw it signed. Amrav Shmuel bar Yidam Rav Yochanan. Lo yishanu ela she'ein haget yotze b'tachas yidei shneim. We're talking about there were 2 men, 2 shlichim didn't show, who were the signatories. Sometimes they'll send 2 shlichim, not 1, but 2, and both of them signed on the get. So it's if one said before nechtam, one said before nechtam, and they both didn't show up to testify about their eidos, it's not good. But if 2 eidim showed up, then kosher. Al maksover, shnaim sheviu get medina sayam. If you have 2 people as a shaliach bringing the get from China, ain't tzrichin sheyomru b'fanei nechtam. They don't have to make this declaration. Their testimony about their signature is enough. They are the eidim that are mitzuyim l'kaimo. So Amalei Abai Elamiyata Seifa Diktani. Shnai Moim Fanenu Nechta. 2 said we saw it written. Vechad Omer Fanenu Nechta, we say Pasuk. Rabbi Yehuda Machshir. Now, time of day get Yotzeb Tachas Yidei Shneim. So again, we're talking about there's no 2 shlichim. I get Yotzeb Tachas Yidei Shneim Machshir Rabbanon. So there, the Rabbanon L'chora would be Machshir, like we said before. Amalei in. So the chiyén get Yotzeb Tachas Yidei Shneim. So let's say, what is really the machlokas between the Rabbanon and Rabbi Yehuda when you don't have 2 witnesses? Remember, we have a problem because normally if you bring a star mominus or a star karka, you can't rely on one aid to say b'fanei nechtam. It's only a din and get that the Chachamim were makel. And therefore, if you allow one to testify about it, people will be confused and they'll do it for a regular star. The kiyum starts to Amavedu said, so one mandamar the Chachamim are goizer and say it's possible. Umar Savari Rav Yehuda loy kazrina. That's the point of the machlokes. However, lishna achrina amila. Some people say learn this sugya differently. Afilu get yotzei mitachas deshneim possible. Even if the two Eidim from China showed up and testified about the get, it's possible. Al Maksavar, obviously that mandamar holds. Shnaim shevu get in Dina Sayam, Srichim Shiyam Refanenu Nichta Refanenu Nachtam. Even two people coming have to say Refanenu Nachtam Refanenu Nachtam. Amalei Abai Elamayat. Based on that, Seifa Diktani Shnaim Oimrim Refanenu Nachtam. Vechad Oimrim Refanenu Nachtam. We said possible. Rav Yehuda Machshir. So I feel get Yotzei Mitachas Deshneim Pasri Rabbanon. And would you say, therefore, that the way you've been learning, that even if the two Eidim showed up and testify that it's them, the Chachamim would be possible? Amalei in. So then, b'may kamiflagi. So what would they be arguing in? Mar Savar, because it has to do with why are they saying b'fanei nechta. One mandamar holds l'fishein b'kim lishma. People cannot write a get lishma. That's why they have to say b'fanei nechta that it was written bishma. So even if two people brought the get, it's not good enough unless they say b'fanei nechta. Umar Savar l'fishein mitzrim l'kaimo. The reason that we required a shaliach to say b'fanei nechtam is not because of lishma. It's because the Eidim are not present who signed it. But here, the Eidim came. So that's why Rav Yehuda is machshir. So lema Rabba v'Rava tanoihi. So is this machlokes between Rabba and Rava machlokes tanoihi? No. Rava metaret kilishna kamo. Rava will be metaret. The first way we explain. The Rabba amalacha that the kula alma be'inon lishma. Everybody holds that part of the edus has to be that they're testifying that the get was written lishma. Eventually, even the people in China learned about the din that you have to write a get lishma. However, the shaila is, are people going to forget? And it's big zera shemayachzar davar lekulkulo. Do we worry that it's going to go back to the way it used to be? The Marsavar Gazrina. And we still require edus even after a time where the people in China required it mainly because of the Gzera of Shemayachzru Lekulkulo. And Umar Savar, Lo Gazrina, and Rav Yehuda will say, no, we're not Goizer like that. So Freit the Gemara, Lifluk Nami Rav Yehuda Bereisha. Why, when Rav Yehuda only argued in the Sefer, the Reisha said, one aid says b'fanei nechta, and the second says b'fanei nechta. Why does Rav Yehuda only argue in the last part? Why didn't he argue in the first part? So ha'itmar Allah amr ula cholakai Rav Yehuda b'rishon. Ula says Rav Yehuda did argue in the Reisha. Masir for v'shayla ula. Rav Yehuda machshir bezu v'lo b'acheres. We have a baraisa that says Rav Yehuda was only machshir in one case. My love. He does not agree that it would be kosher in that case. Moshe is low. Lemu'ut is something else. There, he says it's excluded. And why? Rav Yehuda was not concerned about maybe that it'll go back and people will forget about writing it lishma. But Dilmasi Lachlufe became Stars Dalma. And maybe you'll worry that if we rely on one aid, in the case of get, people will think that you can rely on one aid by regular stories. But he's also lo gazer that. Kamash Malon, that it was gazer that even though for the worry that people are going to go back and not write lishma, but he was concerned about comparing it to regular shtaros. And if you rely on one aid by the get, you'll come to rely on one aid by a shtar that documents money or land. And itmar nami. There's another brisa similar. Armor of Yehuda, Shnaim Shavu get Medina Sayam, 2 shlichim brought the get from China. Banal Machlekas, Rabbi Rabbanon. So he holds that even 2 people who brought the get have to say before nechta, the Chachamim, or that he holds as well, like the Chachamim regarding that. Rabbi Bar Chana Chalak. Rabbi Bar Chana got sick. Olagvei Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shiyulava. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi came to visit him. Meanwhile, Balminei, Shnaim Shevu get Medina Sayam. 2 people came from China. Tzrichim Shemiyam before nechta, or ain't tzrichim. Amalan ain't tzrichim. Ma ilu yoim before girsha. If 2 Adim came and said this woman was divorced in front of them, mi lo mehemna, wouldn't we believe them? So here as well, we certainly should believe them if they say that this get was the get that divorced the woman. Adahachi, while they were sitting there, asal chabara, a certain Persian priest showed up, and we're going to have to wait until tomorrow to figure out what the Persian priest had to say. Everybody have a good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Can I ask you? I'm going to ask you something. I talk about different Gemara about a get mugdam when they write in